All right, friends, our latest purchase. Something that I thought would be handy and I've been wanting for quite a while. A grain cart of some variety. And we're gonna look out or check out this treasure right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. And this here is a 1210A John Deere grain cart, which is made by United Farm Tools. And I've been looking for several years for some type of a grain cart because I have one field in particular where if it's a wet year, it's really difficult to get the stuff where it needs to go. You can't get the truck in there. And so I thought, hey, you know, grain cart would be handy. And one year my cousins, they have a 1210A grain cart. We used it and I thought, man, that made it so much easier. And then another thing that would make it easy or better is, let's say you're taking the truck away to unload, you can leave the grain cart there and the combine guy can keep unloading into the grain cart. And then when you get back, there's no downtime. You can just drive this out, auger it onto your truck and keep going. And so that was kind of the thinking here with this of why I wanted one. And then another reason, I've looked at all different brands of carts over the years and I never could find one that suited me or for the price or whatever. And one thing that I was very much worried about or trying to, it was helping me weed out which ones I didn't want, was what kind of parts availability is there for whatever you got. Because I found out quickly that some of them, like I think the M&W carts, there are no parts available for. And so it doesn't do you much good to have something like this if you have trouble and you can't get parts. So I thought, well, these John Deere carts are made by United Farm Tools. So there's United Farm Tools ones out there, John Deere ones out there, and there is a place on the internet that sells pretty well every piece, like for the gearbox and whatever. So that's good, we're good to go. Other than gearbox, really, there's nothing here that you couldn't make yourself, you know. Yeah, the flighting, I don't know if they sell that. I haven't looked that up yet, but I think they do. And you know what I'm saying. So parts availability was a big factor. And then the other thing, a big factor, was cost. I didn't want to sink a ton of money into a grain cart, which you would maybe only use a few times a year, because basically the combine can unload right into the truck most of the time, and then that just saves a step. There's no use to have a grain cart. It would be for overflow or for places where it's too hard to get to with the truck. So how did we find this? Well, when I was at that auction and we bought those 3 tractors and a couple plows, you know, I was talking to a guy who works for another cousin, and he said, hey, you need to call Randy and you need to talk to him because he knows a guy that is selling a farm and he's got 2 grain carts and you could have either one basically for scrap price. And so I said, yeah, that sounds like a deal that I would entertain. So we got together and there was this cart, which was farther away from home. And then there was a, oh, not a Kilbros, but what was it? I can't think of it now. Parker, maybe. There was some other brand of cart that was closer to home, but the guy left it sitting partially full of beans. And I thought, well, maybe that one's probably pretty rusty by now. So I don't know. I never saw either one of these. I went purely by, you know, secondhand viewing. And this guy that I was talking to, he said, I climbed up and he said, this one looked all right. So anyway, I said, I'll take this. I'll take it if you can bring it up here. And so that's what happened. The next day, I talked to him and they went down there and they pulled it up here and unhooked it here, and here she sits. So I have never seen any more of it than you have seen right now. I haven't climbed up into it yet, and part of that is because the auger's in the way. There's no way in the world that I would fit between there, so I want to hook it up and maybe unfurl that, and then we can climb up there and look at it. But just a quick perusal of the thing, I guess if we start cosmetically. It's got some rust on it. He said the guy, it looks to me like it's been repainted. And anyway, my cousin said, hey, it looked really nice when this guy got it, but it sat outside a lot. And you can see the evidence of that, you know, some of the paint's coming off. And there is a few places where there's a little bit of rust issues. I don't think it's anything that is severe yet, but we might, you know, like grind on that a little bit and clean it up and give it a coat of paint or something just to stop problems from developing. The other thing that's not the greatest on it would be the tires. I mean, he pulled it here from quite a ways away, so it's pretty impressive. I guess these are aircraft tires, and they're rated for like 250 miles an hour. So I haven't looked into getting any ones of those yet. I kind of did off the internet. I think there's a place that sells used aircraft tires, so I might check into that and see if I could get some that are a little bit better than what I got. But I don't honestly think it's worth spending thousands and thousands of dollars on tires for something that's going to just get pulled through the field basically at low speed. I don't know. I mean, if it had excellent tires on it, then I wouldn't be afraid to like pull it home from the field if we were a ways away full of grain. But right now I would not pull it loaded with these tires. I don't know. This one is the worst one. It's pretty bad, but they're like, I want to say they're like 26 ply. So I'm guessing that there's a lot of layers left to peel off before something really bad happens. I don't know. It's got a really bad place down there though, so we may have to entertain that thought sooner than later. But this year is, so far, I don't think we're going to really have to use the cart this year, because the field that I really would need it for is the one that didn't get planted. So we've potentially got some time before this would be an issue where we would have to pull it over. You know, I'll pull it out here. We can play with it out here and try it out. But, you know, if the tire goes flat, then whatever, we could get the truck right next to it and unload it and deal with it later. But anyway, that's probably the worst thing about it, is the tire situation, and this one in particular. That's, yeah, okay. So that's one thing. The other strange thing about it, well, I guess we'll talk about that in a second. I did notice that the flighting in the top auger is not great, at least here at the end. And maybe that's the worst part of it, you know. Maybe the rest of it looks like this, and that's very usable. It's not really sharp, but there's just that one place where it looks like it's missing a few chunks. So I don't know about that. The lower flighting, it's a little bit sharper, maybe. This piece is probably actually bent a little bit here. And probably, I can't say that for sure, but part of what could have caused that is, I know this from when we used the one that the cousins have. When you unfold this auger, you have to make sure this peg goes between these two pegs, or sad things happen. And I just wonder if that didn't happen at some point. And yeah, see, here you go. There's even a sticker about it to prevent possible machine damage. And so you can't really see that from the tractor seat, so you're gonna have to use a little bit of caution when you're unfurling it to make sure that it really goes where it's supposed to, because something bad could happen. But like I said, I'm not going to use this enough to really, whatever it is, it's going to work for me. I promise you that. That's fine. You know, maybe, hopefully we don't have to rebuild the gearbox immediately, but if that is the case, whatever. Now, I guess other worst part about it is, number one, the jack is toast. I mean, he said, oh, he brought it along and he said, maybe you could get that unstuck or whatever. No, we ain't doing that. But luckily, past me was thinking, I have this brand new jack that I ordered for, I think, the corn planter when we were fixing that, and it didn't fit on the round piece, you know, for the planter, so I had to do a different route. And this one's actually like a material that wasn't really weldable. So I'm hoping that this will fit. We might have to, it's probably going to be too tall now, and now it won't do what I want. But I was going to say, let's try to hang it on there and see if it, this might be too tall of a jack for what we want, but we'll see. Oh yeah, look at that, friends. That'll just, I think it'll go in there. Maybe not. The jack will fit on there, but I don't know that the pin is the right size. So, is that the problem, or is it just that that ball, it might be that ball isn't wanting to compress all the way. I don't know. If the pin is the only problem, we got solutions for that. We'll figure that out. So anyway, the moral of the story is, the other day when he got here, he said, how do you want to do this? And I said, just drive out from under it real fast and it'll hit the deck, and that's fine. So yeah, see, it goes through that one. So we'll have to figure out what's the problem with the holder. If the holder is, you know, mangled in some way, we'll figure that out. That's the least of our worries. The other problem is, he said, I looked all over in every vehicle, under every rock and stump, and he said I could not find the front half of the PTO shaft. So yeah, it's also gotten some crap between the shield and this, and it's pretty rusty, but I think it's going to work. I even entertained thoughts about maybe sawing part of that off, but that is neither here nor there. So what it is, that should be the 35 in size of PTO shafting, and I think that's what, 1 3/16, and it should be 1,000 PTO according to the supply place. That's what kind of end it would have had on it, 1,000 PTO. So my plan here for what I got, I already ordered a shaft and the yoke, but I didn't get the cross because I could get it locally in town. Well, now is a weekend and every place is closed, but I think I can still find it in town if we get that far today with it. There's a flying creature that looks kind of ticked off. I wonder where its house is that I've disturbed. But anyway, I've never seen it spin. I've never seen any of the hydraulic functions work. I've seen nothing. So it may need a lot of work, I don't know. But I was of the understanding, I was told that it was a working unit when they parked it. Like, there was no reason why it shouldn't work. So that's what we're operating under. Now, back to what I was saying about the PTO, we're gonna set it up for the PTO. See, there's a big 1,000 and a small 1,000. And I've got the yoke for the small 1,000 because all the tractors I've got have the small 1,000. I'm thinking 4150 is gonna be this job for this thing, you know. Articulated 4-wheel drive, perfect for this. Which then means we'll have to get the injection pump rebuilt on the 4150 so it doesn't leak, so we can use it. But we can play with it enough today to see that this is proof of concept. But if we set it up for the small 1,000 like that, then we have the choice that we can use it on 4150, we could use it on 4180, we could use it on 2255, we could use it on 9650. All of those, except the 4150 has only got 1,000 only PTO, but all the rest of them have dual speed, so I could use it on either one. Right now the 9650 has the 540 shaft in it, and so does the 4180. But anyway, it's a simple affair to swap one for the other if that had to happen. But we've never used the 4150 for anything, and I think this would be a dandy thing to do with it. Since it is 1,000 only PTO, why not start with that? So, I think what we need to do, well, you're about out of battery, sadly, because I was a slacker and didn't get them all charged up. But we're going to get another battery, A, or number 1, however you want to look at that, because they should be charged up by now. I think we need to get the loader tractor, which is just right on the other side of the cart. It's on the other side of the fence, but we can just bring it right in here, lift this up, put the jack on it so that it's up where we could hook to it. We'll get the 4150, hook her up, and then we can start testing things like hydraulic folding and unfolding, which will then let us be able to climb up in and see what kind of shape it's in. It's got a door at the bottom that we can slide shut. Right now I think it's open, which is dandy, because if it's open, that means that it's not been sitting holding moisture or things like that. Now we've got 2 flying creatures, so I'd say there's a pretty good sized nest in there somewhere, and they're probably getting fed up with me poking around their house. But the hydraulic hoses look like somebody replaced them in recent times, but they're weather cracked from sitting around outside, but hopefully they will last us a while. I don't know, but that's not the end of the world if we have to replace hydraulic hoses. Hydraulic hoses are not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. We do want to, before we go running at full bore, I mean, we can test it today and just see it turn, but we do need to check the oil in all the gearboxes and make sure that that's going to do it for us. And then also I need to go look right now. It shows that that PTO shafting was delivered, and if it was delivered, why then we need to get it, because then we could start making our front half PTO shaft, like cutting it to length, which we will have to do. And then like I said, if anyway, what I'm getting at is I can go to town real quick and get that cross from, I think the Supply of Tractor store should have one. It'll probably be more expensive than the auto parts store would have been, but if it means us getting this done today, that might be what we do. So let me start by loader tractoring. I hope I got a chain right there too. So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll get that picked up, put the jack on it, and then I'm hoping that this is going to just be a wonderful event that does not end in sadness, you know. Then we can put this jack on the scrap pile, and that jack we're going to have to figure out why it won't go on that holder right, and we're going to have to figure out where the flying creatures are living, and then we're going to give them a special dose of secret sauce, which will change their attitude in a hurry. So yeah. All right, well, I fixed the fence too good, I guess, and now I won't be able to get it to lay down flat. The bovines have really been pushing my buttons. They have absolutely, if I fix something, they tear something else up, and it's frustrating, friends. All right, Buddy the dog is behind me. I don't know why he, do you not want to be on camera today or what? You not having it, not feeling it today? What's your problem? Okay. Anyway, I checked my email tracker thing again, and it turns out they changed the delivery day so that shaft and the yoke is not coming today, so we're not going to get to see it turn right now, but we're still going to hook it up to the 4150, and I got other stuff I'd like to do too whilst we're there, like let's put this quick hitch on. I've had it cleaned up and painted to put on there forever, and I just haven't got it done. And why not, friends? I mean, why not? I think I need to put talk while I do this. The original had like those what do you want to call it? It had those pins, like the factory style 3-point retaining pins, which are just like a hair clip type thing, but one of them was broke off and whatnot, so we're gonna just switch to these. They'll fit through the hole. I should have brought a hammer. Should have probably cleaned them up a little better. That's fine. Just work them back and forth a little though. They'll come into it. Strangely enough, this quick hitch did have the balls on it, so it must have been on one with the latches, which is strange because you would think that a tractor with latches, you wouldn't need a quick hitch, you know. You would just go with the factory stuff. But this would have come off of a 4180, and a 4180 would have solid arms, I would think, like mine. We're not out of the woods yet though. We're gonna have to find us something for the top link because I don't have a pin for that. And I think this tractor's got a top link on it, so that's fine. It's also kind of odd that this tractor it's got like the regular two-wheel drive style top link on it, and the 4180 needs the kind that has like an extra articulation joint to get the geometry right. And that quick hitch came with one because, like I said, it was on a 4180. So if I get that freed up, I can put the correct top link back on the 4180, but that is neither here nor there. Let's turn on the batteries and it should fire right up because, yeah. How many flying creatures are living in here? I'm sure there's some, aren't there? It'd be amazing if there wasn't. Uh-oh. Okay. You no go? Why you no go? Now it's getting fuel. It's probably lost its prime. Maybe that's what it is. I hope that's all it is. It needs the pump rebuilt. Well, dang, we're gonna be hosed, friends. And that's dumb because last time it fired right up. The other thing would be, I've had trouble before where those solenoids don't want to go right away, but I've had this one all apart. Come on. It doesn't even try. That's sad. Our whole fun for this video was based on this one tractor. I'm trying to remember where I can... I guess there's no way around it. I gotta take the hood side off. I'm supposing that it's possible that maybe it's... Has it been sitting here leaking and it leaked out too much fuel? And now it's too low to run? That's possible. but sure. Ours is not the reason why. Just invert and multiply. Sure. Oh, that must be. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Had it in road gear. Don't need that. Poor thing, it just hasn't been used, and it's suffering because of that, you know. But I will get that pump rebuilt here in the next month or so, and then we'll see this thing used for hopefully grain cart playing with stuff, you know. And then later in the springtime, maybe like Landau playing with stuff. Now, this is going to be a struggle bus. I can promise you that. Because it's heavy. And I don't really have a plan. You should always have a plan. Other than that. Alright, now, I don't know what I did with my Zep. I really would rather use Zep and spray down in on this. Alright, now you're probably asking yourself, why? Why quick hitch on a tractor that has the latches like the Oliver style? Well, I like quick hitches on these bigger tractors, especially like these articulated ones, because it gives you a place to hang the hydraulic hoses. As ridiculous as that sounds, that's what I'm after. So I am gonna have to get, I should have them, they're all unstuck. We worked and worked to get them unstuck, so we just need to make sure we keep after it so that it doesn't sit there and get stuck again. But I am gonna have to get another linchpin here, because I see that's missing, and then I need a clip here for that, which I thought I had some of those, but who knows where they are now, so I'll just get more. At any rate, let's just hose everything down so that it's got it if it needs it. Better to have it not need it than need it and not have it, you know. All the lubrication points. Well, let's see if this will work. I just found something interesting. I wonder if this little clip, I bet that came out of this pin. Come on, get through there. It's just dirt in there. The dirt is packed in enough that it won't let that go through. That's crazy. That's crazy. I win. No. That'll hold it. Now, we gotta get in there to the cart. We've got a pin. I don't really have a plan here for what we're gonna do, but it would make sense to go ahead and hook that cart up, and then we might pull it out of here, I don't know, just so the bovines can't mess with my hood sides on that tractor. That would suck if they destroyed that. See, now that I want to be in here, now they're coming up here so that they'll be right underfoot the whole time. Because that's how bovines work, friends. They don't just mind their business. As soon as they see you or hear your voice, they gotta be where you are. So that's fine. Coming fast enough that I need to close the gate. As much as I like getting on and off and doing the same thing 14 times. They're all looking at me like, what are you doing, dum-dum? I can't see the I can't see the hitch at all from the cab on this one. All right, this might be doable. He says as his jack hits the quick hitch that he just put on. Literally, if I hadn't put that quick hitch on, I'd be able to do this. Dang it. All right. We gotta play this game. Such a fun game. We actually gotta go a lot of it. All right, friends, I got sidetracked, but look how close we are. What are the chances that I can get this without having to start anything up? Look at that. I do, however, immediately see a flaw in my jack situation. This jack is going to interfere with, maybe that's not up all the way, is it not? It seems kind of low. Maybe we need to go in there and start it up and see if we can raise it up any more. I have never used the 3-point on this, so I don't know. Well, that's not good. There's something else we need to fix. the hydraulic lever tower is rusted off of the floor, and so when you pull on the levers, sadness happens, friends. So we're gonna have to deal with that. Let's see if we can. I don't have anything here with me though to help. Okay, that'll work. So we may have a lot of work ahead of us, not just on the cart, but on the tractor, because it occurs to me that I've never used anything. I've used the hydraulics, but I've never used the PTO, and obviously not the 3-point hitch, because it was not doing the thing either. So, but at least I know now that if the 3-point hitch is all the way up, I can get the jack on and off. All right, well, we got that done. We need to fix that hole in that so that the pin will go all the way through, and then we can have a better time there. Let's see about hydraulics. Now that I screwed up that tower, I don't know if I'll be able to do this or not until we fix something. Don't mind me, I'm behind here. I'm untangling hydraulic lines. We may have to make them longer, actually. I don't know. We'll try it. Okay. Those are for the gate. Now we'll get the two for the auger. Pretty rusty. Also, makes you wonder, the fluid isn't that great in them. Okay, everything should be hooked up hose wise. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if we're going to be able to. I might have to get a wrench and manually work the hydraulic valves in order to make this happen, because the tower is broken, but we'll see. Let's see if the gate will close. I can't hardly see the gate. Oh, we're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to do two hands. Oh, that blew the hose out. So that's a fail. Got the auger. I think that's gonna go in there. It makes me kind of nervous to have my hand in there, but oh, while we're out here, let's hook up that hose that blew out of the other remote. Yeah, I don't think we moved that at all. But let's unfurl our auger all the way. So we can say we did. Okay. Well, oh, it did close that. It did close that door. You couldn't see that from the cab because all you could see was the outline of the frame, and in the cab you can't tell that it moved, or at least I couldn't in the position I was in. But it is closed. Let's have a look up here. It doesn't look bad in there. I mean, obviously it spent some time outside, but it's not rotten. Having that gate open really helped, and it looks like it's sealed up now, so I think that's a win. So yeah, we have functioning door, we have functioning auger folding. We just need to we need to get our PTO and do that. And I got to thinking, we need to read up on the measurements and see, like, what is my drawbar ready all the way out or not? Because I think 1000 RPM, no, it's not. And I'm wondering if I need to probably slide this back into that other hole, because 1000 RPM takes a longer distance standard usually from the implement, and that would also help my hooking up issue, and would also help my turning issue, because this now gets awfully close to this. So I think we're going to have to lengthen our drawbar by 1 hole, which is no problem. We know our hydraulic functions work, but we need to do the drawbar lengthening before we would measure and cut our shaft, is what I'm saying. But overall, I think that these two things will play well together if a guy just gets all of the necessary things that it takes to do it, you know. And then also providing that our gearbox isn't a total piece of crap. I really hope it's not, but you know, things happen, so we're gonna find that out. But anyway, it would be super cool if this just works by only adding a power takeoff shaft, you know. Wouldn't that be nice for a change, where we didn't have to do a bunch of welding and cobbling and what have you? I think it would be nice. Now maybe I'm wrong, maybe that's not the right thing. We do have some more work to do on the tractor, definitely. Injection pump leaking, that needs to be addressed before we can ever use it in the field. But then also it needs, now we need to clean the cab floor up and weld and get that tower secure so we can actually pull the levers without the whole thing coming loose. But friends, I think we got us something here, because I never even told you what I paid for it. You know, with the delivery, 700 bucks. And I think that is a very awesome price for this, because I have looked at them for $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 and never pulled the trigger on one. And here I've got this one delivered to my doorstep for $700. They said scrap price, which I figured if it weighed 4,000 pounds, according to the internet, that would be like around $500. But then the guy who had it said he wanted $700, and I thought that was very fair considering it was delivered to me and I had to do nothing other than open those gates and let him pull in here with it. So I think we're in business. Anywho's friends, I think we're gonna call this one here because I don't have parts to go any farther, and there's plenty of other stuff that we're gonna be able to do to it. Visitors coming up to check out what I'm doing. But anyway, what I'm saying is there's gonna be plenty of stuff that we can make more videos on. So I think we'll just call this one here. And then next time we'll make a shaft, we'll see it all turn, we'll figure out how to get in there and check all the gearboxes for oil and grease everything that needs greased and make sure that things are really what they seem, and from there we'll live our happy life. So as always, friends, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And don't be a donkey. That's good advice, no matter who you are. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.